Well, well, well. We are here for another season of Steady Dropping Dimes. And we are here with a new co-host. See, we're going to miss our brother Devin. We're going to miss our brother DG. But see, we had to go get the GOAT.
Oh,
We had to
Lord.
go get the greatest of all time from the state of Michigan. The best to ever do it from the great state, from the mitten. I've never seen an athlete do it like this brother next to me. Love DG, love DG, but he couldn't do it like my brother T. Wheat. Couldn't do it like this brother right here. He was the pride of Inktown on the gridiron, on the hardwood, on the track. He did it all. Did it all at Michigan, did it all in the NFL, and now he's doing it as a coach. Of course, he is my man. He's my guy, one of my good friends. And when I called him up and said, "We, let's do the podcast thing," he said, "Say less. Let's do the podcast thing." And he is here with us now on Steady Dropping Dimes. Tyrone Wheatley, clap it up for him. Let's give it to the man himself. There we go. Wheat, how you doing?
I'm doing
Yeah.
well, man. I'm doing well. I appreciate this platform and opportunity, my brother.
Yeah, they said, oh, they people like Tyrone. What? Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Tyrone Wheatley said, no way. They said, no way, Ty Wheat, the greatest running back in Michigan history. See, you say
Uh-oh.
that stuff about Wheat. Wheat's like, no, no, no. There have been better athletes than me. He actually said that.
I mean,
He actually said that. There have been better athletes than me from Inkster. He didn't even say Michigan. He said Inkster.
Inkster, I'm trying to tell you, man.
Said, come on, Wheat. Come on, Wheat.
I'm
All
just
right.
saying.
So we have more to get into, but without further ado, got to give my man Daniel Horton, who we used to introduce as from the state of Texas, but hailing now from the ATL. But now you're back in Texas, Daniel. How you doing, brother?
Man, doing good, man. Back home in Cedar Hill, you know, pouring into my son and other kids in the community in the basket grassroots community here in Dallas. And man, it's a breath of fresh air. I've been gone a while, I've been gone almost 15 years. So to be back and to be working with my son and my nephew and seeing my dad every day and my brother, and we all, back in the gym like our family is known for being gym rats. It takes me back to my high school days. So it feels pretty good.
Yeah, man. Of course. The great sponsor for Steady Dropping Dimes is back. Our friends over at Golden Limo. Listen, if you have ground transportation needs, whether it's airport transport, game day transport, executive transport, wherever you need to go, whether that's Southeast Michigan, throughout the state of Michigan, anywhere in the country or abroad, our friends at Golden Limo will get you there on time every time because that is just what they do, whether it's in their luxury SUVs or if you need something bigger like a sprinter that will get a large group, a party bus, if you need to get down like that, or one of those big coaches that will take a team or your whole office someplace. They can get that done too. That is just how they get down. Even my man DG, who is a world traveler, he said, "Sam, I'm going to Paris. Can Golden Limo take care of me in Paris?" I said, "Yeah, they can do that." He wound up not going. He had so many other places to go. The Paris trip wound up not happening. The point is, when he went to Paris, they were going to take care of him in Paris too. That is how Golden Limo gets it done at goldenlimo.com. So listen, I think it's only fitting we if we tell the youngsters when I tell stories about recruits all the time. I think it's only fitting if we go back when I talk about your exploits in high school, if we really give some color to them. When I say you dominated on the football field and you dominated on the track, and then you were dunking on people on the basketball court, I'm I'm not exaggerating, am I?
No, you're not. You're not. No, just keep it to dunking on the basketball court because my jumper was broke.
No, but high jump champ, was it high jump champ and long jump champ?
So I hold the school record, my high school record at the high jump, but in the state of Michigan, I think all my records are broke right now. But at one point in time, I held the long jump, 100 meters and 110 high hurdles.
Okay. So you're a hurdler too. Man, this dude, I couldn't believe he was that big, moving that fast. And so talking to some of the guys who play with him, like so Ed Davis, for instance, one of your backfield mates, he was like, man, the dude was like Bo Jackson.
Nah,
like,
come on.
We don't like it when I say that.
Come on.
He's like, the dude was like Bo Jackson, like Michigan's version of Bo Jackson. He was that big and could move that fast. And so what was your fastest 100-meter week?
High school 10.4 and college 10.26.
10.26 at what? 6'1",
6 foot 235.
235.
So I got a trivia question for you though, Sam.
Okay.
What sport was an All-American at Michigan?
It wasn't track.
It was track.
It was track.
I was not a first-team All-American in football.
That's crazy.
Hey, and say it so casually though. Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Hey, Sam, what did you say before we started? I'm Bo Jackson was an alien, man. I think you are too. Hey, track, basketball, records. Come on, man. That's.
Okay, so as you got to put a poor man's Bo Jackson. I keep the greats now. I'm not like some of these young guys or some of these other guys who put people down, man. There's a tier. You know what I'm saying? There's a tier system, and you got to keep them guys on that tier. So Bo Jackson, I love the comparison, but nah.
I hear you, but still 6 foot and a half, 230 pounds, and 10.26.
Yes,
man. And see, that tells you how crazy Michigan's running back sort of contingent was back around that time. It was never just one guy. It was never just one dude. It was always like a stable of guys that was like that. Like you came and it was like you came and Ricky Powers was here. He was the number one back in the country.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is, unlike today, in those days, you wanted to go to a place where there was a man. So when Ricky was there, because remember, John Vaughn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's go back even before John. So we had Tony Bowles, Horde, Bunch, then like I said, after those guys, then I'm missing one in between that. Then John Vaughn came. John, when it was the year where you could leave as a sophomore, so John went into the draft as a sophomore because Rick was balling.
Mm-hmm.
Then I was coming in, so he was like, goodness gracious, so you got me, Rick is there, and all of a sudden I started playing. Then you get Timunga comes in, and so it just kept rolling, and it was incredible, man. So we had like you say, it was a stable.
Yeah, man, it was always big time backs. It was only like in recent years. It wasn't until like Mike where it was like one back, but it was always like multiple guys at Michigan just rolling in. You just expected for it to be another dude because it was always guys that would just ball and multiple guys that would ball like that. So, man, so then you go to the league, do your thing there, and then you decide to get into coaching. And we were talking about this before you came on, or before we came on, the decision to come back to Michigan and get into coaching, man. We were talking about the story when you got hired by Jim Harbaugh. Can you tell the people the story about coming back to Michigan to coach, how that all went down?
Yeah, that was a pretty interesting one. So head coach at that point in time, Doug Marrone, was the head coach of Buffalo Bills. I followed him from Syracuse to Buffalo, and he ended up stepping down from the Buffalo Bills. And I get this call, and it's from Jim Harbaugh, and he says, "Oh, can you come out to talk and let's do it? Sit down and talk about this potential job of coming back to Michigan." And so, of all places, we meet at Red Robin, right? We meet at Red Robin that night. So he was like, well, come back in the morning and we'll sit down and talk. So I come back the next day and I sit in the office for 3 hours. I'm just sitting in the office. I'm just like, okay, when we're going to talk? So he comes back in the office after about another hour or so. I think I've been there maybe a total of 4 hours. So he comes back in and says, you going to take the job? I said, you never offered me the job.
I remember calling Weed. I said, hey, man, you get hired yet? He said, man, the dude ain't offered me a job.
I said, you haven't offered me the job. We haven't, we talked no numbers or anything. And so he said, I'm offering you the job. You want to take it? I said, well, let me go home, talk to my wife and let's talk it over. He's like, you got to go home and talk to your wife. You're not going to start today? I said, no, I'm not starting today. I have to go home. I said, listen, man, just give me 24 hours. I say, in a perpetuity, I would say yes. Yes, I'm taking the job. But at least let me go home, get some things squared away, make sure, talk to the wife. Well, didn't she know you were coming on an interview? Yes, she knew. But I still got to go home, man. Still got to go home. So it was an experience.
Hey, man, well, see, here's the thing. So you gotta set it up right. Because that was abnormal. So here's Tyrone Wheatley coming in the office. And he's like, if you come into office, clearly you're coming to get a job. Then you take a job if I say there's a job on the table. That's just automatic. But Wheatley didn't do that. When literally there's a guy who, on the possibility, the sheer possibility, I've talked about this in the past already. So this is not urban legend. We even talked about it with Borges. So there was a guy who, where's Jimmy now? Is Jimmy or where's Jimmy? Where's Jimmy Doherty a coach at now?
I don't think he's in Washington. I don't know, but I know he was back on the West Coast.
Hey, producer Lance, where's Jimmy Doherty a coach at now? So anyway, the story goes, Jimmy Doherty was the OC at San Jose State. He's the OC at San Jose State. He had been, I believe he had been with Jim at San Diego, I believe.
Yep.
Right? And so when Jim got on at Michigan, hey, it's like, hey man, I got to go try to be over there. So Jimmy comes to Michigan and he's coming to the office every day, like reporting for duty. And I can't remember who I was talking to, who was on the staff. It's like, man, this dude is coming to the office every day and he's not on staff, but he coming here every day on the possibility of getting the job, right? And he left the job. He left the OC job, right? Coming every day. And so, man, guess who came open though? Jed Fish came open. Well, I can't remember where Jed was. Jed was he was with Jags somebody. So when
He was in Jacksonville.
When Jed came open, well, hey man, oh man, you know how Jim mind work. He was like, hey, Jed, come take this wide receiver job. Oh man, well, Jimmy, it's like, hey, dog, there wasn't really a job on the table, which is to your point, hey man, you didn't offer me a job. Anything can happen, right? That's kind of like Jimmy. I didn't offer you a job. So now Jimmy he out there. It's like, sorry, man. Maybe next year. So now Jimmy got to go back to San Jose State. But guess what happened? San Jose State hired Al Borges as the OC, the job that Jimmy left on the possibility of getting a job at Michigan. It's like, oh my God. Oh my God. I mean, only in the world of Jim Harbaugh can this happen. And so imagine Tyrone Wheatley walking up in the office talking about, I got to go home and talk to my wife. He said, Jim is like, what? I just got this man flying across the country, giving up an OC job, and you telling me you got to go home? Now you understand why Jim Harbaugh was like, what are you talking about, Tyrone Wheatley? You understand now?
No, I don't understand. I don't. But we're going to have to talk, man. As my man said, we got to talk turkey, baby.
Right. I hear you. I'm with you. I get it. I was like, hey, man, listen, I got to lay down at night with her. And you know what? it's not a sure thing until I hear offer. Yeah, I'm offering you the job, and it's not a sure thing until I see what the numbers are.
Yep.
Then it's a sure thing. So I'm with you, brother. But yeah, that was
You go have Coach Wheatley. He gave me the wink and the gun.
Nah, that's what they say. I was born at night, not last night.
last night. Not last night, man. Yeah. Those are some times. It was always some interesting times, interesting stories back during those days. During the coaching days with Jim. I talked to Clink today, by the way, catching up with them
Oh my goodness.
out there in San Diego. So it was good catching up with those guys, and they off to a good start out there in San Diego. And one of the things he asked about, so I want to talk to you fellas as former college athletes, and now both of you as coaches. I know, Dan, you're a former college coach, but now AAU coach, so you're still in coaching. NIL's influence on coaching, right? This is a very interesting time because it has influence. It influences expectations. It influences the say, right? Who has say? And so I'm curious, as a coach, starting with you, what's your take first on how many coaches you've seen let go by this point? It is October 30th, and we have 12 coaches that have already been let go. We have approaching $200 million in buyouts that schools have said, we can pay that. They're willing to pay that money because they'd rather pay that than lose the contributions of the donors. And now those donors have even more say, it would seem, in what's going to happen with these college programs. So how does that sit with you as a college coach?
It doesn't sit well because now let's take James Franklin, for instance, right? Probably didn't start the way he wanted to, but some people use the word stale. He's been there for a while. He's not winning, championships, and people think that you could throw money at the institution, you're going to win a championship. But you have to bring the right coach in, right? You have to bring in the right coach in to manage that money and manage those dollars. Just because you throw millions and millions and millions of dollars at a program, you have to have someone to be able to manage those people, right? Not only just manage the people that you're bringing in, but just because you throw those millions at it doesn't mean your program is automatically going to jump into national championship status. And that's what scares me in this business as a coach, because now you have these, for the loose term of it, these people with money and they're loose triggers. They're loose triggers. And then all of a sudden, if it doesn't happen the way they want to happen, they get trigger happy. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. There's no continuity in your program. Then it goes back to the 80s and the 70s of the Wild Wild West. And so that's really where it's at right now, because at the end of the day, I think you and I was talking about it before. Now they got these committees and the ADs. What role does the AD play now?
I know what you're talking about. You're talking about down at LSU.
Yeah.
So the governor stepped in and he basically told the AD, hey, you don't have a say in what's about to happen down here. Sit down and shut up.
So you hired the last guy.
But let me ask you, but now let me ask you this as a coach. So now when these jobs open up and they become available, so I played for the great, mighty Oakland Raiders, and many coaches was afraid to go work for Al Davis. And they understood who Al Davis was and how he was. He was a great guy. But now just look at it this way. Once you start getting these influences on the outside, coaches are now going to start treading lightly and say, is that a job for me? Do I want to go there? Is that a place for me and my family? Because now this institution is at a win at all cost. So they have the money, throw the money. Unlike my man I call him my man because I love what he's doing in Indiana. He's going culture and character over dollars and athletes. He wants to bring in the right people. So it can be done. But when you start throwing that type of money at these institutions, God knows what type of athlete or person you're bringing into that institution. And now you talk about you got to win at all costs. So now you have to bring in a coach that can basically run a circus.
So here's the thing. It's easy to say, turn them away. But can you really, if you want to compete at the upper levels of college football, if you're going to compete with the Ohio States, the Georgias, the Alabamas, the Michigans, don't you have to engage those high-level donors so you can compete for those high-level players and deal with the consequences that come with? Meaning that, hey, the donors are going to have some say. So if you go and you play Michigan State, for instance, it's just hypothetically.
Hypothetically, yes.
Hypothetically, you play in Michigan State, okay? And your quarterback is having a tough day. And you're trying to get him on track, but can't really get him on track. And so you say, you know what? We're going to run this ball and we just going to win. We focus on winning the game. But all everybody want to talk about is how many yards the quarterback had, because he is the best talent on the team. He is the highest priced talent on the team. And the people who contributed to helping get that player on the team want things to look a certain way. Well, if they want things to look a certain way, it kind of matters that things look a certain way. So,
yes and no.
Who do you're saying no?
No, it doesn't. Because there has to be some ground rules to this. If you're going to give money, give your money and disappear. Because just like, so let's go to the pros, right? Peyton Manning, he has a bad day, but he has Edgerrin James. Mm-hmm. You know, Edgerrin James opens things up for Peyton Manning, and Peyton Manning is not going to have a great game the entire time. But does that mean because you paid all this money for Peyton Manning that he's going to automatically have these great games? The name of the game is to win. And so if you're going to continue to force this young man or these quarterbacks or whoever the highest paid player is to now all of a sudden to get these numbers, and he's hitting these numbers, but you're losing, okay, then double me down as a coach. Give me something to secure me as a coach and say, hey, listen, if you want this guy to get the numbers, I'll get him these numbers. But on the back end, I need an incentive as a coach. If that's the game you want to play, so if you're telling me you want this quarterback, this running back, or this receiver, whatever you want, he has to hit these numbers, I'm cool with that. I'll get the numbers. I'll get him those numbers. But if I get him those numbers, give me an incentive so I can get those. So just in case you fire me when we don't win, at least I can get my money on the back end.
That sounds like Brian Kelly right there. You have a kid win the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah.
And 2 years later, you gone.
Yeah, that doesn't give you any job security. The wins.
But that's what I was just saying, though. But that's what I was saying.
Yeah,
the
that's
job
why I say
is up in place. But at some point in time, it's cover your own what? So that's what I'm talking about, these jobs now. And coaches are now going to have to start looking at it at a different lens. Because now you have people on the outside that's donating this money want to see it a certain way. And that's why I say donate and disappear. Donate, disappear, let the coaches do their job, let the ADs do their job. Just because you donate the money doesn't mean you're going to sit in the boardroom and make, or the rooms and make the decisions.
So I think is that a bit fantasy land though? We as a coach to think that people are going to donate millions of dollars and then sit in the back room and be quiet and not.
It's not. So, but but I'm just telling you, this is just me though, right? It's just me. It's really not a fantasy land, right? Because there's egos. And make it no bones about it, right? Yes, you might be the millionaire that's donating the money. But if you want to donate the money and coach, then bring your butt over here. You donate the money and you coach him, you can get him all the numbers you want. And at the end, when it doesn't happen, you fire your damn self. Okay, here's what they're saying. So I'm not a coach. I'm not a coach. You're right.
Devil's advocate. Okay, coach. So you telling me I'm a millionaire, and if I want to have something say, then come coach. So I tell you, okay, coach. Well, I'm a millionaire, and if I want some say, come coach. Well, I'm gonna tell you, coach. Well, How about this? Go coach some player that I don't help you get with my money then. What about that?
And you know what? It's been done before. It's been done before because like I tell you, the guys, Texas A&M, Signetti, these guys are doing it. They're doing it. It's guys out there. And I'm going to put it to you this way. My man that's down at Ole Miss, there are players out there. You got to go find them. There are players out there, man, that can play this game. And you don't have to pay them that high price dollar. So I'm going to go back to this. Look at what my man Dan Campbell was doing with the Detroit Lions. Right? His whole, he brought guys up from his freaking practice squad from the secondary.
He did.
Right? So that's what I'm saying. So if you have a system, you can do it. You can go do it. It's guys out there.
Yeah, but he also has like some big time, Jameer Gibbs. Well, Jameer ain't getting paid yet, but he got Aiden Hutchinson who just got 180 million. And
right, but so you got the one guy, but he's building it off of the character in those guys that's hungry, that's wanted. So these guys, a lot of those guys, they're not big money guys right now. Not the majority of them.
So I like the idea of what you're saying. I wonder if you can really do it.
Yeah, and how long would it take you to win doing it that way?
And right? would they give you the time to build it that way?
No, but what I'm saying though, you can go out and get the players. And I understand what you guys are saying. If you give me the money to go recruit these high profile guys, right? There has to be some boundaries. Because now you're saying, because we're paying this guy X amount of dollars, you want him to have an incredible game. You want him to have the numbers. Mm-hmm. But what if we're forcing him to get these numbers and it's not playing into our hand to win and we're losing? We're forcing him these numbers. We're forcing to get him these numbers and we're losing.
Yeah.
LSU.
At some point, it has to come to the point of, hey, listen, I got to win.
Yeah. So here to me, this is my happy medium. If I'm a coach, which I'm not, I'm taking the money. I'm taking the money because I got to go get me some ball players. But I'm going to have me somebody on staff that's a buffer. And it's your job. It's your job to not necessarily kiss behind, but to.
Oh, it is.
You know what? Keep that annoyance.
Break the ice.
Yeah. Keep that from being a nuisance to me.
But at the end of the day,
when the nuance of the game needs to be explained, that listen, we got to win a football game. That, you know what, and that really was a hypothetical that I was given.
No, but you know what? But here's the crazy part about it. Your hypothetical isn't really it's true, and that's what's happening.
No, it's real. Now. Yeah, I'm about to say it just happened to Brian Kelly.
It's real.
Yeah.
Well, but what I'm saying is I am going to take the money. But I'm going to take the money and I'm going to have to give you a boundary. This is just me personally. I don't like having uncomfortable feelings. If I see you, we got to talk. I'm not going to have a buffer. You want to talk, we're going to talk.
That's you, though, Wheat.
That's the inkster in it.
See, Wheat, the way we handle it, we not going to get the money no more.
No, we going to listen, we'll get the money. We'll get the money because we're going to bring the guys in. We're going to bring the players in. They're going to come in. We're going to get the players. We're going to take the money. We're going to distribute the money the way it's supposed to be distributed. But when when those tough conversations need to be had, I'm not going to have someone speaking on my behalf, right? And you're going to have those tough conversations. It's no difference than a head coach and the GM talking in the professional ranks, right? You have to have those tough conversations. But going back to the original scope of the conversation was, do you want this young man that we're paying X amount of dollars, do we want to win with him or do we want to get him the numbers so he can look good and so you can look good, but we're losing? Which one do you want?
Right. And that was kind of the point. And again, that was a hypothetical that I was offering about Michigan. That was more general fan reaction, not any donors. So I want to be clear about that. But it is a scenario, to your point, that I think is happening across college football where you got the owners like, hey, I want to see my guy out there. I want to see him put up numbers, and hey, he should be looking a certain kind of way, kind of thing, right? Whereas if you're Michigan in that game on Saturday, where man, can you imagine if they had lost? Are you kidding me? If they had been so hell bent on, we got to make sure he gets his stats in a game where, for whatever reason, young player, first Michigan State game, you know, can't really get on track, and they are just being belligerent in their focus on that, as opposed to, hey, what is gonna work to win this game? And you will appreciate as a running back, man, they schemed the hell out of the running game. They
Yes, it is.
schemed the hell. They didn't just go in the game and run Michigan State over. That is not what happened in that game. They confused man. And see, people they associate scheming with the passing game, which I guess I understand on some level, but it was about schemes, run schemes that Michigan
Yes.
State couldn't answer. And so now you go out and you rush for the most yards against Michigan State since Tyrone Wheatley played at Michigan State. That's the last time Michigan ran for that many yards on Sparty. So, and they won the game. So they said, okay, now what we do is now we can come back and in practice, we can address some things and get our young quarterback who played a really good game against Washington. This is what happens with an 18-year-old guy, right? He's 18-year-olds gonna have ups and
18.
downs. You know, they act like because he's 18 years old, or and you pay him some money, he's gonna be 21 just because you paid him some money. Don't work like that.
No, don't work that way. There's a maturation process, and he's, for right now, all intent purposes, man. I my hat goes off to this young man. Kudos to him and his family. I mean, because he's handling everything like he's 30 years old. He's polished, he's everything. But, however, there are some times in that game, in the previous games, where you could see the youngness of him. You could see the immaturity in terms of reading the coverages and understanding when to get the ball out. There was a couple of times where he missed rotation on, like we talk about schemes. There was time where he missed a rotation and missed a couple of balls and throws. But he's out there living off of true talent and arm talent. But once he starts understanding the scheme and he's throwing receivers open, and the coaches see that, so why put all this pressure on a young man? Why break his confidence? Why have him out there doing so much when all he has to do is so little? And we have people around him. Right? Help this guy win. Because nothing builds confidence like winning.
Yeah, Daniel, I'm curious, man. Former high-profile athlete yourself, coaching high-profile athletes. Brother was a high-profile athlete, so you're used to being in the spotlight, dealing with the spotlight, seeing others having dealt with the spotlight. What's your impressions of how Bryce has been dealing with it and is handling it so far?
My guys that I went to Michigan with, we keep up with a little group text, right? And that's one thing we talk about is how confident he is, how sure of himself he is, and that only comes from the work you're putting in, right? And so seeing that from him makes me, I'm confident in his. I'm excited about his future because I think he's handled everything. If you can grade him, I would give him an A+. Like, to come in with that type of spotlight, everybody thinks they know how much you're making, which puts another target on your back. Like, all the things that he has to go through on a daily basis, for him to stay focused, for him to continue to put his work in, continue to grind, and continue to lead this team. Like, he get an A. I give him an A+. If they end up doing what, beating Ohio State and getting back to a Big Ten championship game, it's even like, how much better can it get as a freshman coming into this moment, right? At a young freshman at that. So, man, the kid he's handled everything well, and he'll continue to handle everything well. You can just tell some kids just have it. You know what I mean? Some kids want it, and he's one of those kids, man. He's gonna work, so he'll be fine.
Chris Webber, Jalen Rose, I mean, y'all came out at the same time. Mega spotlight on y'all at the same time. It's different with social media.
Yeah.
But still, the time y'all came out, all eyes were on y'all. Like, the nation knew who you were at a time where people weren't really looking at high school athletes like that, but they were looking at y'all. So against that backdrop, having dealt with it yourself, what are your impressions of how Bryce is handling all of this?
Well, I think right now the magnifying glass, right? Like you talked about, we didn't have social media. It was through paper, the Tom Lemon reports and all those things, news. But right now, he's at a click of a button. Everybody understands who he is and what he's doing. And he handles it with grace, humbleness. The one thing that I'm really, truly impressed with is about this guy is how his teammates look at him and how he is around his teammates. That tells me a lot about a person. When a person walks in the room and how people look at you and how they feel, it's not they don't give him that side eye or body language change when he enters the room, like, oh, here he come, right? It's none of that. It's genuine love, like, here's my guy.
Yep.
Here he comes. And that's what impresses me the most about this kid. But at the same time, brand. We didn't know about brand. We didn't have brand recognition. So now he's in the point where now he's understanding his brand. And so I would just say this. Once again, A+ is how he's handling it. But this guy, man, he's special. I'm not talking about on the field special. I'm talking about off the field special. He has a charisma about him. He has like a je ne sais quoi about him. It's something about him.
He just has it. Yep.
I can't put my finger on it, but he's special.
Yep.
And that's why I said kudos go out to his family.
You know what I appreciate about Bryce? What I appreciate about him is the way that he handles himself within the team. So you got other guys on the team who are struggling. You never see him get down on those guys. Ever. Like, I mean, there's an accountability in a team sport, but you don't see him do them in a way that is disrespectful. Right? You don't see him do that. And you don't see him, like, so that game that they had, there's a lot of guys who are stat guys, who are about the profile, who are about the vanity of it, especially guys who are like the number one guy. That dude was about the W. He had 86 yards passing, and did you see him crying and complaining about his stats?
Come on.
Man, that dude was out there celebrating.
Come on now. We know there are certain games you got circled on your calendar. It's called a stat game. We all know that, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about. You hit the nail right on the head. He wasn't worried about that. He was worried about the win. And that's why when I watch him, how his teammates walk in the room and how they revere him and how they look at him, that's impressive now. That's impressive.
Yeah.
That says a lot.
Hey, Sam, it's one of those things. So, coach, you coach. As a coach, you always want a kid, like, especially as a point guard or a quarterback, you want to look at, like, and Coach Amaker told me this a long time ago, right? You always want to have a kid in that spot that when we walk in this building, no matter if it's on the road, at home, I got a chance to win because he's on my team. And that's how I think that's how Bryce's teammates look at him. That's how the coaches feel about him. They feel like with this kid, we have a chance to be successful. And no matter what situation we're going to face throughout the course of the season, even though he's young, he's talented, but he's a quick learner. And so I think that confidence that he has in himself spreads to everybody else. So when they go into Nebraska, like there's no change in what we do because this guy, he's extremely confident. So I think he's one of those guys that moves the needle with the confidence of your entire team, not just himself.
Yeah.
Last thing. So here's the thing I always ask somebody, right? How's his work ethic? Who is he in the weight room, on the field? And they say, you know what? It far exceeds his talent. So when you can get a guy who's talented like that, but his work ethic matches or exceeds his talent, that says it all, because now he's about that life, right? He speaks it and he talks it and he walks it. So that's why, once again, his teammates look at him that way. And you feel comfortable with a guy like that.
Yeah, man. It's one of those deals where you see a guy who is not showing any sense of entitlement, and who has all the talent in the world and is still not expecting anything to be given to him. I appreciate that, and I think his teammates appreciate that. That's why, I think he's gonna reach his potential. But just because he is gifted with all of this talent and he has tremendous work ethic, and he grinds and does all the things that he's supposed to do, that does not mean that he doesn't have the same process that all other freshmen go through. It's like people expect that he can just skip steps because he's talented. It's like, come on, man. He's gonna have off games too.
Yeah, NIL money doesn't get you closer to your 10,000 hours. You know what I mean? It doesn't make you older. You know what I'm saying? More experienced immediately. You still have to go through your paces and take your steps as an athlete, go through your process. So
and so now that doesn't mean that we can't sit and talk about the things that he needs to improve upon. We do that too, DG. We do that too, DG. Man, DG called me up, man. He's like, y'all need to hold him. Okay, all right, DG. And then he called me up and he was like, man, he be calling me about that. He called me up about Denard. He called me up about Bryce. I said, DG, bro, you want to be back on the show, DG?
So we could put a fourth box up here, man.
We can put a fourth box up, DG. I don't know. I don't know because it's not enough room when we got weed on now. I mean,
we got the better player. We got the better guy from Inkster anyway.
We do have the better guy from Inkster. We do.
He's not really from Inkster. He went to Inkster.
He
went to Inkster. He's not from Inkster. He went to Inkster.
That is true. I love my man DG though. That's my brother. That's my brother. That's my brother. I love my man DG. He ain't said nothing but the truth. Love my man DG. Now here's the thing, fellas. Now, NBA, college basketball. These seasons are upon us. NBA already started. College basketball season about to start. The story that's captured the airwaves. This gambling thing. Now, I thought it was just going to be about the NCAA sort of allowing college athletes to bet on sports not their own. But no, it's this gambling ring in the NBA that, hey, you got 30 players and coaches kind of wrapped up in the FBI sting, some and betting on sport, others in La Cosa Nostra mafia gambling games. And like, man, what the hell is going on? The NBA, it sounds like, kind of knew about some of this stuff and was kind of trying to keep it quiet. It feels like you got a situation on your hands where you got a lot of players and maybe even some coaches that have been trading in some information that might have been affecting some games here over the past year. Feels like, are we dealing with some integrity of the game situation going on now?
Sam, don't break my heart. Don't break my heart, man. Basketball, my first love. Don't break my heart with his rig talk. But no, seriously, Tim Donaghy said, he mentioned this years ago, right? About the whatever you think may be going on in the conspiracy theories about gambling and the referees and all that stuff with the NBA, man. And I don't know if it's true. I don't want to say it is true, but the things that I've seen, guys, the gambling habits of the players before the NBA had to ban gambling on team planes and in the locker room. Those guys are going to gamble somewhere. They're not going to go to, in Detroit. I know you have casinos up there. They're not going to the casinos to gamble, right? That's not their. They stick out at a sore thumb at MGM. You know what I mean? So they're going to find somewhere to gamble with other people who have, deep pockets like they have. So I'm it sounds crazy, but I'm not really shocked, Sam. Like these guys, like just a quick story. I played with a guy who made more than his rookie salary gambling on the airplane in 2 weeks, basically. You know what I mean? So it's not, and now with the average citizen being able to just gamble from their phone, what do you think the rich guys are doing? So I don't, it sounds crazy, but I'm not shocked.
No, and I'm with you on that, right? So they're going to gamble. Like you say, they're going to gamble. Same thing NFL. But the thing that gets me is like, what they had, like X-ray cards or some card, like, just being able to, that part is the part that gets me. When you get into those type of those arenas where in avenues where it could go really bad, right? It could go really left. It could go wrong. Now, if they were just in the regular house and they were gambling, and it was straight up gambling, I'm okay with it. But now when you start deceiving folks, man, that's something totally different now. And then I just say I feel like I got a little egg on my face with the NBA because football, basketball, and you sit around with people, I call them pedestrians, guys who don't play football or basketball, don't play a pro sport, and they'll be like, man, it's rigged. And I would tell them, these guys are professionals. You think they're going to rig this? You think they're going to throw a game? And now I just kind of feel like I got a little egg on my face, right?
Right,
right.
Yeah.
I feel betrayed because now I don't play anymore, but I still watch it. I still love it. And now you just kind of look at it and say, is this real? It just kind of takes a little bit off for me.
Well, see, and I think we'd be naive to just call this an NBA thing. The NBA is just who they had to focus on. NBA is
Let's
just
keep it in the it's not in there.
I understand but
no, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, my man, Tim McCormick, we doing the Basketball Insider tomorrow at 8 a.m. and he raised the point last week. And he said, let me tell you something. He said the NBA is experiencing what every sport is going to experience all the way down to college now. Access breeds opportunity. Access breeds opportunity. And so how does Chauncey, he's assuming for the sake of argument that this Chauncey Billups story is true, which I don't believe anything that I see. I don't take the feds at face value at all. I'm sorry, that's just me. I'm skeptical. Chauncey Billups in a mafioso game, maybe it happened, but I got to see some actual proof, right? But assuming for the sake of argument that it actually happened, how does the mafia get in with Chauncey, right? I mean, the separation is not really there anymore. You got all these people getting much closer to athletes now, sidelines of games and all of that. You got the betting houses, you get BetGM and all these betting apps, and all of them are right there with the sports now.
But Sam, it's not that deep. You just gotta owe somebody. Like if you
Or
think
that,
about it, even the rich guys have markers, right? Like in Vegas or every other place where they go, and you hear stories all the time about these athletes owing, tens of thousands of dollars to a guy. You don't think, they might say, hey, I can collect a different way.
That's my point. But see, there
Yeah.
have always been opportunities for athletes to owe guys, but now the ease with which they can owe people is a lot easier to owe, with the ease with which you can gamble, the ease with which you can bet, right? And the access that bookies have. All of that sort of plays into what Tim was talking about. He said now on the college side of things, NIL, he said, do you know who all the people are who are making NIL contributions? Do you really know? Do you really know who all the people are who are connecting with student athletes? Do you really have a clue? So do you really think that I'm not trying to alarm people. I'm just trying to, got to open our eyes to the reality of the possibility that everything that we see happening in the NBA could very easily happen in college sports where, hey, so-and-so is not going to be playing in the game because he's injured. You know what? I'm gonna sit this one out because I got a hamstring, or I'm gonna take myself out in the third quarter because I'm gonna come up lame in the game. How do we know for sure, or how confident are we that is not happening already?
Well, you know what? I'm gonna tell you something. So my rookie year, and they would have this thing where the injury report, and they would tell all players, do not speak to the media, do not speak to people, don't even tell your wife if you're playing in a game or not. And they will hold your name up until game time, whether you're going to be a healthy scratch or you're going to be inactive, right? And that was kind of a way of letting the public, or not the public, so it wouldn't get out, even to the next team. And like you're talking about access, I mean, it was access back then, but for me, the biggest issue right now is what in the world are these guys thinking about? Like, you don't think it's going to get caught? Like, yeah, you're going to make some money, but it's going to come open. One thing I know about the streets, they talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
The streets talk.
That's a good point.
They're always going to talk. And then at some point, the whole thing about I'm not a rat, man, please. As soon as somebody get caught, hey, Sam, come on, man, they got us. They got us, Sam. Come on out, man. They got us. Like I'm saying, like the money that you're making now, is it worth the trouble in all the things you're going to go through? Now, I know I might be speaking a little naive, but that's the way I'm looking at it. And for these young guys that's getting into this game, everyone's thinking to make more money and trying to double increase in their money. So I tell people all the time, I tell these young guys, I say, hey, man, you want to gamble? Learn how to day trade. That's the best gambling in the world. You want your high, but it ain't the same high. It is the same high. Day trade, brother. Learn how to day trade. That's the best gambling in the world.
And you still can lose your hat though, lose your house.
But you're not going to jail.
Yeah, you're not going to jail, but be careful.
Legally.
It's legal, but
it's
you
legal.
Still lose your shirt.
Hey man, listen, I'm losing my shirt legally as opposed to losing my shirt in my life.
Yeah, that's true. True that. You know, I'm not saying that you aren't giving some wise words on how to stay out of jail. And I think that's a very important point to make to college guys, because very often I think they think from the standpoint of, NCAA rules. Like you had some guys, for instance, I was reading a story about how a couple of dudes, they did some things and then the NCAA caught up with them, but they were out of eligibility. So they didn't talk to the NCAA. NCAA was like, what can we really do? We can't enforce it. Right. And so they walked away with whatever they collected from whatever it was they did. But it wasn't a legal thing. Well, now you got a situation where the feds are looking into a lot of this activity. That's different. Yes. That's not an NCAA rule that we're talking about. We're talking about jail time. We're talking about fines and things that you can lose, your liberty. You can lose you can lose money for it. It's not, losing eligibility. That's a much different circumstance that I think guys need to start thinking about as well. That might be a deterrent of sorts if they start realizing there could be legal ramifications as opposed to eligibility ramifications.
So Sam, I'm gonna just go back to this real quick. Young guys, whether it be women or men, young people don't think they'll ever get caught. They think the scheme that they have is so well in place that they'll never get caught. So I'm gonna just give you a prime example. Back when, at Michigan, we would go to a bowl game, we come back with our bowl gifts, go to Foot Locker, we exchange and stuff. And I don't know if you remember the FSU, Florida State Foot Locker scandal, right?
Yeah. Free
so them guys, they called us, they put us on game on how to get the stuff going. And I'm not gonna lie to you. The only thing that stopped me from doing it was, yeah, I'll get caught, but how does this punish my school? How is it punishing the guys that didn't even do it? How does it affect them? But you also have those guys, like you talk about the guys who walked away with no eligibility. There's a lot of guys like, man, bump that. I'm getting mine. I'm going to get my Jordans. And I had to sit down. I was like, is this worth some Jordans? Is this worth some Jordans? You know what I'm saying? But that's the biggest thing. These guys don't think they're ever going to get caught with it. Never going to get caught. Then the second portion of it is you got these college students who, they still struggling. The NILs might not be like other people's, but I'll be honest. I'm one of those. I'm out of eligibility now, so I can tell this story. Nobody in my family was going to the Ohio State game. I was getting $800 a ticket, man. $800 back then. $800 was a lot of money for $800 a ticket for the Ohio State game. So you're not, mom, dad, grandma, whoever, you're not going to the Ohio State game. But here's the deal. I can tell you off a little paper. Then they come back with, now you got to, what was it? You got to sign everybody up before you can even get on the list. But I'm struggling, man. I don't have no money. But these $800 a pop, right? I reached out. I did that. but not to the point of where my conscience, and I ain't gonna lie, I got a little scared where if it got a little too dangerous, I didn't want to put the university and these kids in trouble that was behind me. And then once again, I didn't want to go to jail.
Mm-hmm.
I like being free.
Hey, that's crazy. That's crazy because in today's times, you'd have been a millionaire already.
Hey, you would think Tyrone Wheatley could have a section in the stadium.
What? His family in the box.
Right?
What snow?
Right? They didn't have boxes at that time, but still.
Oh,
I mean, they
yeah.
had the press box, but it was terrible back at that time. But still, yeah, man, it's gonna be interesting to see how it plays out because the legislation that they were coming out with that was gonna allow student athletes to bet on sports, not their own sport though. It's like, wow, this is interesting, man. And then didn't they have something like with coaches too?
Yeah, they were going to allow coaches to bet not on the same principle, not on their sport, but be able to bet on other sports.
I guess you got to address it, right? You got to put some stipulation on it.
How about just like it's been, no betting? Because now you open up a can of worms, man. You just open up something that you have to police.
Mhm.
You're just going to open up something that you have to police and that you're going to have to keep track of. And everybody has their weakness, right? Everybody has their weakness. And one of my coaches told me money, women, and gambling.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Hey, so from a grassroots perspective, man, as far as the gambling and NIL, you have high school kids now who do prize picks and parlay on their phone now.
Are you serious?
Yes, it's trickled down to the high school kids where kids, man, my parlay didn't hit where they're betting on, it may be $5, but they're creating mini gamblers betting $5-10 on, 3-4 game parlay on their phone. So it's one of those crazy things where like and as far as NIL, saying we talking about the coaching carousel and how NIL is affecting that, it affects the high school level too. You have coaches here in the DFW area breaking their necks to get to a charter school in Florida, charter school here, so they can coach kids and be in that world where they're coaching high-level high school kids who are trying to get NIL deals once they turn 17. So you have kids shuffling different high schools. You have kids who there's a number of kids down here have been to 2 or 3 different high schools already before the basketball season. The first practice was just 2 days ago. And you have some kids who's been to 2 to 3 different high schools looking for the right situation, looking for the right, situation to be in a have opportunity to make NIL money. You know what I mean? So and they were, the best player at their high school. They have Division I offers already, but they're chasing something that they think is there. And it's I don't want to say it's killing grassroots basketball because I think it's not going anywhere, but it's definitely changing the culture big time.
So let me. I would like to know if this is a stat or something. How many kids in high school are really, really, really getting these NIL deals? What's the percentage of them? Right. And then same thing in college. Not in college, but what's the percentage of the guys who are making the big NIL deals? Because I think once you break it down like that, everybody's chasing it.
Yep.
Just like everyone can't be a Division I kid. Because I'm dealing with this at the Division II level. You're waiting on all these parents like my son, he's a Division I. I said, well, if he was Division I would be recruiting him. So if you're chasing the money, now I'm just gonna say this. You don't have to chase it. The bag
if
will
you're
be there
good enough, it's gonna come to you.
You break it to him like that?
Yeah. You don't have to chase it. It come to you.
Hey, Seb, what we call that? We call that dropping dimes.
We should do. Say, hey, if
you don't have to chase it.
So, he was Division I would be recruiting them.
Yes.
Damn.
Yeah. This one mom got so upset with me. I told her, I said, ma'am, it's like the housing market. You think your house is worth $500,000. The market says it's worth $400,000. So you either drop the market or keep your house on the market and don't get it sold. You got to drop it. But these kids and these parents are chasing this dream instead of chasing the process of getting. How about this? How about get your butt in the gym, work on your crossover, work on your left hand, so somebody can come pay you instead of chasing the money. Because once you chase the money and you ain't who you think that you are, they're going to drop you.
Yep.
They're going to drop you.
How about you just continue to lead go win a state championship and average 25 at your high school? Why do you need to go to the charter school and play with these other kids? And we're playing a national schedule. Well, you have 15 Division I offers already. What can you get over here that you're not already getting at your high school? So it's
the
creating
parents, though,
crazy
man.
call.
It's the parents. I had a kid tell me once, I'm being slept on. Like you said, man, you got 15 offers. How are you slept on? I'm gonna just put it to you this way: be the big fish in a small pond.
Yep.
Just go be a big fish in a small pond. That's it. Go
dominate.
get ball. Go, like you say, let them come find you. Let them come find you.
Wayne State Warriors over there be getting dimes dropped on them all the time.
Yeah, some of my guys be looking at me like, Coach, what you talking about?
Look at this. You got some Warriors in here. We got some Warriors. Say we Warriors up in here. Look at that. Yeah, that's right. So listen, folks, we are pleased to be in another season. Of course, we talk Michigan. We're going to talk NFL. We're going to talk NBA. We're going to talk college basketball. We're going to talk all the topics in the world like we always do, right? No Caitlin Clark because, she's been out. So Daniel ought to be all right, right? Because, that always gets Daniel riled up whenever
let Sam tell it. The WNBA would have folded by now. Caitlin Clark not playing.
What are you talking about? All we said was
all right.
Help amplify and help elevate the profile of the league. That is undeniable, Daniel. That is undeniable.
You said more than that, but that's for a later show.
That's a later show.
Yeah.
But do they lower the rims?
Why would they lower the rims?
So the dunks. I'm not gonna lie to you. I like to see. When I'm watching men's basketball, the threes don't. Yeah, shooting the three. That don't excite me. Crossover finish. You gotta finish. Like I want to see a finish.
So
you know what I'm saying? Like
you want to see that. So in order for you to watch the WNBA, you got to see some dunks.
Yeah. So here's the deal. It's entertainment, right? It's my demand. It's my money. I want entertainment. From an entertainment perspective, right? I don't want to see layups all day.
So you know what for me works? What me works is, first of all, real athleticism. Like you can't be, so it doesn't necessarily have to be above the rim athleticism, but be some real athletes, not like some, gumpy athletes out there, like real athletes.
Yeah.
But then the drama of competition, like people that were trying to pour water on the Caitlin Clark, I thought that was, the whole idea of making a rivalry a bad thing, I thought was wrong for the league. I think a good rivalry like the Bird Magic thing.
Yes, you need sports need rivalry. You need a rivalry.
You need it. You need it. I think
the better the better.
I thought Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark being that for the WNBA was every time that was in the news. I was like, man, you lean into it, ride the wave, blow it up. And I think they got it. I think those two got it. I think other people were trying to make it be some social, make it.
Of course, people gonna go there.
Yeah, they try to make it to be some social thing that was of greater significance than the competition on the court. Which maybe there are some aspects of that have some relevance, but if you're the league, don't get lost in that. Man, you better lean into that competition because that is what's gonna bring those viewers in.
but they have to develop into a Magic and a Bird or whatever. They're not that yet as far as their status and their actual how good they are in the WNBA. They're not that yet, so it's hard. It'll be hard to sustain that, or else it'll be like what's my man Dylan Brooks trying to fight uh just some other really good player in the NBA. Every time they play, they get into it. It'll end up being that type of situation instead of like where you have a real rivalry where people are gonna, pay top dollar to be in the stadium, in the arena when these two ladies are facing off against each other. So one of them, they have to become what's my man, what's the lady name? It's the Aja Wilson. Like one of them has to be,
Oh, yeah, I hear you on that.
has to become that level and have that and have a rival of that level to propel that league for like you're talking, right? The NBA was propelled for because Magic and Bird were two of the top, 3 to 5 players in the league at the time. So
right.
they got to be good too, Sam.
So, but here's the caveat though, right? Here's the caveat. And a lot of people get mad at me because I say this. I'm going back to the entertainment factor.
Mhm.
I want to leave either my couch and get up and go to bed saying, damn, did you see that move? Did you see that dunk? And so when we talk about from Pistol Pete to Oscar Robinson to Magic Johnson to Larry Bird to Magic Johnson, I already said Magic, to Jordan, now to Kyrie Irving, to all these dudes, the game is just progressing on. And you're seeing things like, I asked my son the other day, I said, how much more do you think the ceiling of the NBA, do you think we've reached this? What else can these dudes do? Like the game is to the point now, the athleticism and all that stuff, where else can it go? So when I watch a WNBA game, I'm like, okay.
So if they lower the rim and they're dunking on a 8-foot or 9-foot rim, that's not
that low.
Okay, but that's not gonna. You're not gonna be like, but they dunking on a 9-foot rim.
No, I'm not because they can't. They don't. Of course, they don't have the hops like a man has. So like in volleyball, the nets are lower. The women's net is lower than the male net, right? The women don't play on the net. I don't know what the volleyball nets heights are in volleyball, but they lower the women's net in volleyball. So why not do the same thing in basketball? In hurdles, they lower the hurdles in women's. They're 38 inches. I think they're 24 inches in hurdles, and they're 42 inches in that 110 high hurdles. The men run 110, the women run 100 meters in the hurdles. So every standard, they're lowering it. Do you understand? In every sport. So why not lower the goal to 9 feet? Now you got Angel Reese drop stepping and dunk. Like, what if she just drop step and dunked on Caitlin and just looked at her and just like, or hit her with the too small joint? You don't think that would be? I would love it.
You'll be watching next time they play her.
You damn right I will be. I go get me an Angel Reese jersey.
Hey, they obviously have entertained the notion, and they've concluded that the only thing they wanted to make smaller was the ball.
No, keep the ball. Lower the rim. Lord, I'm just saying from a standpoint of when you look at it, like you said, the competition, that's great, but there still has to be a factor of entertainment to it.
Okay.
There has to be if I'm paying my money, I have to leave.
We got to save it. We can't have all the topics on the first show. We can't have all the topics on the first show. Then it'd be that's what we used to do with DG. And we used to be on. It used to be marathon shows, and they's like, "Hey man, y'all sound like y'all trying to have a documentary." All right, so we gonna save it for the next edition of Droppin Dimes, folks. Hope you enjoyed episode 1. We got a lot more in store. We're gonna have fun every single week. Hope you enjoy our new co-host, Coach Wheatley. Who you guys have this week?
Grand Valley.
All right. So now you got a whole bunch of new fans. They're gonna be following you every single week. So make sure y'all support Wayne State, support the Warriors. Root them on to victory. Whatever kind of support you can show for Wayne State, get on out there and support Wheat as he tries to coach his guys to a victory. All right. So until then, folks, we appreciate you, and we'll see you on the next edition. I guess on the way out, we do have a message from one of our sponsors, our friends over there at Golden Limo.
I want to thank Sean for actually giving me the opportunity to be the ambassador for Golden Limousine. Them, actually seeing, what I can do for their company, seeing like the story behind me, and being like, okay, this guy, I want this guy to represent, our company. I feel like Sean is, giving me a chance, seeing what I've been through, my story. He's giving me a chance to, change my life around. When getting ready for a game, the last thing I want to worry about is am I going to make it there safe. And when riding with Golden Limousine, that's never a concern. When riding on the bus, I sit back and relax, go over the game plan, and make sure I always have my music. This allows me and my teammates to focus on the game and not worry about our safety. I can cover on the field because Golden Limousine has me covered on the road. The first thing I notice when riding with Golden Limousine is before I even get in the vehicle, the driver comes out and grabs my bags for me. And then when getting into the vehicle, I see that the vehicle is spotless, I have my water, and the attention to detail is second to none. I got with Golden Limousine because of their professionalism, and to be honest, they just got my back. Sean gave me an opportunity after hearing my story. He decided to give me this opportunity of partnering with Golden Limo. I appreciate the way Golden Limousine handles their business by doing the little things right all the time, no matter what it is. The attention to details is the same way that I handle my business on and off the field. I appreciate Sean and Golden Limousine for seeing those things in me, and that's why I'll always ride on Golden Limousine.
All right, folks, that's going to do it for us on this edition of Steady Droppin Dimes, and we will see you all next time. So be sure to tune in. We check out your YouTube notifications, your Facebook notifications, your Twitter notifications, and we'll see you next week. Until next time, keep on dropping those dimes. We'll see you next time.